12. I am PK sir. So today I am going to start this video lessons. The last chapter, Kings and Chronicles, the Mughal courts, okay, 16th to 17th centuries. Actually, the Mughal empires or Mughal emperors saw themselves that they were appointed by the divine powers, and they also had the visions that regarding political circumstances, and according to them it was very very important. So they wanted to transmitting their visions through writings of the dynastic histories. That means they appointed court historians so that they could write down each and every in details of the emperors, and it will be great sources of informations for them. And also they wanted to show the peoples that who were against the Mughals, they also could follow this, and Mughals emperors wanted to tell them that who couldn't believe in the Mughal emperors or Mughal administrations, this is all about them. Okay, so in that way, this kind of historical books right now are the valuable sources to know about the Mughal empires. And our historian tried to reconstruct the history of the Mughal dynasty or Mughal empires while reading these chronicles. So what does the meaning of the chronicles? Chronicles means when you are writing down series of events in date wise, day wise. So it's all the histories written by the court historians appointed by the Mughal emperors. Definitely, it was also the chronicles. So it is a very very valuable sources of the informations. Understood? So I am PK sir. Let's get start. Now here I have given you the map of the Akbar's and expansion policies followed by Shah Jahan and the Aurangzeb. So, how much area was under the controls of the Mughals, that you can find out in this map. Now, the term Mughals is derived from the Mongol. Actually, they were the descendants of the Mongol, and Mongols was the fierce tribe, as you all know that. So, the great Genghis Khan, Mongol leaders, and Toimur Long or Amir Timur were the ancestors of this Indian Mughals dynasty. Followed? Now, like the founders of the Mughal dynasty, Jahiruddin Muhammad Babars, he was direct descendants of the from the father side Genghis Khan, and from the mother side Toimur Long. Okay, and the father name of the Babar was Omar Sheikh Mirza. Now, during the 16th century, European also used the term Mughals for the descriptions of the Indian rulers of the branch of this family. Now, over the past centuries, this word frequently used, like even the characters was created by Rudyard Kipling in his Jungle's book novels Mowgli. Mowgli also, it is derived from the Mongols or the Mughals. That means, like Mowgli, was roaming in the jungles and finding out his birth truth. So similarly, that same kind of meaning. So that's why he used the terms. Now, Mughal emperors divided the whole undivided India into several provinces for better rulings. Okay, and through different kind of conquest and the political alliances between Mughals and the local rulers. Now, point number one: who was the founder of the Mughal dynasty? As you all know, definitely Jahiruddin Muhammad Babars. Okay, and his father name was Omar Sheikh Mirza. Okay, and Babar defeated the last Sultan Ibrahim Lodi, and 1526 he founded the Mughal dynasty in India, right? And his son, that means his successor, name is Humayun. or Nasiruddin Humayun. He expanded the frontiers of the empire, but also lost some territories, to the Afghan leader Sher Shah Suri. So that's why from 1530 to 1540, Humayun ruled in India, but he ran away when he lost the battle against the Afghan leader Sher Shah Suri. Once again, he returned in the year of 1555, but suddenly, or you can say unfortunately, he was fallen down from his library and he was died. Okay. Now, the third ruler, Akbar. So, Jalauddin Akbar, probably, according to the historian, is the best Mughal emperor so far. Okay, because he expanded and consolidated his empire and making the largest, strongest, and richest kingdom of Mughal empire. Followed, even Akbar also became successful, to extend the frontiers of the empire up to Hindu mountain. That means the Afghanistan, right? Now the territorial expansion continued under his son, you can say the Selim Jahangir. Okay, Selim or the Jahangir. Now, after the Jahangir's son Shah Jahan, then the son of the Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb, much as their characters varied. So under them, territorial expansion continued, and the three rulers maintained, consolidations of the powers. This is the long history of the Mughal dynasty. One after another, strong and powerful emperor was born, and definitely the whole Mughal empire was totally dependent on the combinations of the military powers and the conscious policy to accommodate different kind of traditions, local traditions they encountered in the subcontinent. Finally, Aurangzeb was dead in the 1700, and after that, definitely you know that the date of the Aurangzeb weakened the Mughal emperors, and British came to India, and slowly they tried to control the political powers. So in that way, Mughal dynasty collapsed. Now, second point we will discuss the productions of the chronicles. So I have told you, chronicles means it is a series of events recorded by the court historian, which was appointed, by the Mughal emperors, and it was very important sources for study this empire and the court policies. And why they were written this? In order to project that visions, definitive visions, okay, that it is a kind of enlightened kingdom, and at the same time they also wanted to convey the message to those who resisted the rules of the Mughals, that all resistance was, destined to fail. For it, now the author or the writers of the Mughal chronicles were, coming from different countries like Iran, Turkmenistan, and the historians or the histories which were written, their focus actually focused on basically the events centered on the rulers and his family, court, and nobles, and definitely wars, fair activities, administrative arrangement. So, for examples, some of the great chronicles, important chronicles during the Mughal empires, like Akbarnama, Babarnama, Shahjahanama, Alamgirnama. Okay, it's very important things. Now, we'll get to know that what kind of languages were using to write down these kind of chronicles. First things, that Babur was belonged to Chaktai Turkey clan. So that's why the mother tongue was Turkish. Okay. So Babur, even when Babur, founded the Mughal empires in the India, his mother tongue was Turkish, and he wrote his autobiography in Turkish language. But Akbar was the first ruler who consciously set out to make Persian the leading language of the Mughal court. Okay, and culturals and intellectual contacts with Iran was, the present in that time, even as well as regular streams of the Iranian and Central Asian migrants also seeking, seeking positions in the Mughal court. So that's why they were also coming. So this kind of migrants might have motivated the Akbar to adopt this language. So Persian was elected at the as the official language, though definitely different kind of languages were speaking, more than 2000 languages, and Turkish languages also were speaking, but definitely Akbar, preferred the Persian language. But you know that also Persian was not directly used in the different languages. Sometimes some words of the Persian also, included in different languages, Indian languages or languages, vocabularies and idioms also. So that's why Persian language has great influences like Tamil, Hindi, Rajasthani, Marathi, several words, words means vocabularies and the idioms were included in this language. So Persian too became Indianized by absorbing local peoples. So Mughal chronicles such as Akbarnama, it was written in the Persian language. Even the Babarnama, which was written in the Turkish language, it was translated into Persian. And on the other side, you can say the elder songs of the Sahajahan, Darasiko. Darasiko actually, translated different Sanskrit book in Persian language. For examples, Razamnama. Razamnama, it is a translation part of the Mahabharata. That means book of the wars. Understood? So this is the history in that way, the process of the productions of the chronicles were, started by the each and every emperors of the Mughal dynasty. So point number one, first they appointed the court historians to write down the events, focused on definitely on the palaces, the royal palaces. Point number two, they prefer to use the language Persian to write down. Point number three, the making of the manuscript. Now, all books, definitely it's not book, it is a manuscript because in that time printing press was not available, it was not invented yet. But for that's why all books were handwritten during the Mughal period. Okay, and the center or the office of the manuscript productions was imperial known as the Kitabkhana. Okay, Kitabkhana you can also use as the term of library, and it was also a scriptorium. That means different scriptures or scripts in Persian language were written. So it was a huge, you can say it had huge importance for the Mughal dynasties because they appointed many peoples and it requires also many peoples to produce manuscripts. So the creation of the manuscript involved a number of the peoples. Point number one process for the creations of the manuscripts, that paper makers. Paper makers were needed to prepare for the folios of the manuscript. So point number one, paper makers. Point number two, scribers or the calligraphers. You know the meaning of the calligraphers, right? To copy the informations or the text. Point number three, gilders who illuminated the pages. That means beautifications. Point number four, definitely painter who illustrated the scenes which was written. Okay, and then point number five, bookbinders. Bookbinder gather all the manuscript or the folios of all the folios and set them within ornamental owners. Then after completing or compilation, after compilations of the work of the manuscript, it became very very valuable. That very very valuable work, and even Mughal emperors given award or rewarded all the people who involved in this activity, especially calligraphers and the painters, especially calligraphers and the painters who hold the high standing positions, high standing social positions, and definitely sometimes they got the mansabdars also. Calligraphy, it was known as the art of handwriting, was considered a skill, as you all know that, and it has a great importance because that's why different kind of skilled people came from like Iran, Turkmenistan, and other countries, and Akbar's and different kind of style of the calligraphy were using. Okay, and among them, Akbar's favorite calligraphy was Nastaliq. You can see the image in the page number 228. On the left side, this was the folio of in Nastaliq style. Nastaliq means it is looking like the flute style. Okay, flute style means in a horizontal strokes. That means from uh, top to bottom. In that way, in the present day we are writing. So this kind of writing is known as the nastaliq. But definitely it requires the very beautifully handwritings, and it is a piece of and by which they were writing a piece of trimmed reed with a tip of the 5 to 10 millimeter, called it is called the column. Okay, and also there was a carbon ink C high. So the nib of the column is usually basically split in the middle of the nostalgic to facilitate the absorption of the ink. So in that way, different kind of calligraphy handwriting we have seen. So page number 228, which nostalgic style uh, images are there. It is created by the Muhammad Hussain of the Kashmir. He was one of the finest calligrapher during the Akbar reign times or reign period, and who was also honored by the Akbar the title Zarin Kalam. That means the golden pen. Understood? So in this way, we got to know that the productions of the chronicles have different sections or segments. Point number one, appointed historian. Point number two, choose the language. Point number three, the productions of the manuscript. And production of the manuscript also in different different had the different stages. Like point number one is collection or the paper binder. Okay, the paper makers or paper binders. Point number two, you can say gilders. And point number three, scribers. Point number four, painters. Point number five, bookbinders. Okay, finally it became the very very important and very prestigious precious object. It became precious object, and it symbolized the characters of the Mughal courts and the dynasties, obviously Mughal emperor also. So I hope you have understood what I am trying to convey through this book. And if you have any problem, definitely you can contact with me through my WhatsApp number. And your examination is coming on the way. Actually, in the month of the March, I think your final examination will be held. So it's my personal advice to read the line by line from the books, and depends on the books. And definitely, if any kind of requirement is there, definitely you can call me, me or SDB side. So thank you very much. Stay happy, stay safe, and don't go outside, because the situation not over yet. Okay, so I am ending this video lesson in this time.